Ransomware. Do you have a plan for dealing with it? It is starting to become worse and worse, and it's been a big problem for people for years, and now criminals have turned to targeted attacks on companies where the ransom demands are much higher. They can be millions of US dollars, usually paid in Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency. The way they do this is they send emails with malicious attachments, usually some Word document with a macro that they use some convincing arguments to make people click the buttons necessary to run this. It installs a virus that spreads in the network. And then they steal all your data. They go onto your servers, onto your cloud storage. They exfiltrate the data and store it on their own service. And then they encrypt all your data, so you cannot access anything anymore. And usually they have also turned off your backups. So this is a big problem. And then they start demanding money to keep you out of trouble. So to get your files back, you have to pay them a big ransom. But they also threaten that if you don't pay this ransom, they will simply release your documents and data online, or sell it on the dark web, or just give it to a competitor. So you need a plan. You need to plan for how to minimize the chance of getting infected like this. And you need a plan for what to do if it happens anyway. Most companies are not prepared for this today. So what should we do about that? It's a good question. First of all, you should have a plan for what to tell the media and what to tell your customers and your employees. And you should have a plan for what you want to do with it. If they have stolen all your data, obviously, if there's a lot of plain text confidential data in there, that is a big problem. So maybe this ransomware wave is a good inspiration to take a better look at data protection and at how to use encryption now to safeguard encryption keys inside the company. Because if the criminals exfiltrate data but they cannot read it, it's not that big of a deal. Another issue is the unavailability to do work. So if you can't access your data, you can't access your computers, you probably cannot provide services or sell anything to your customers. Which is obviously also a problem if you're a business, or even worse, if you are a hospital trying to treat patients and you cannot even access patient records. So planning for working during a situation like this is also something that you probably should spend some time on. So off-site, offline backups will help. Having backup systems that people can use, like spare computers, spare phones, that will also help. And then you need to exercise the incident, because if you have all of these systems but you don't really have a written plan for it and you have never actually tried to do this, you don't know if it works. So you also need to exercise it, and people need ownership, and people need to know whose job is it to fix things when something like this happens. If you don't have those things, today is a good day to start planning.